Superheroes are awesome, especially when they're fighting as a team. You have superhero teams like the Fantastic Four, the Teen Titans, and of course the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But the two most famous and recognizable ones are of course the Justice Leagues and the Avengers. But despite their popularity, it is quite clear that one of these teams would completely destroy the other team. Of course I'm talking about the Justice League and how they would completely wall up the Avengers. And here are the reasons why. I mean, the main argument right here is that the Justice League just has superior superheroes. End of video, man. You can just click off right now. No, but looking at the core members of the Justice League, you have Batman, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman and Superman. I think they're just superior to the core members of the Avengers. Looking at the Avengers, they have Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, the Wasp, Ant-Man, and maybe Vision and Scarlet Witch. Looking at the powerhouses of both the groups, it's quite obvious that Superman would completely manhandle the majority of the Avengers. Specifically talking about Thor and the Hulk. Superman alone is going to beat those two guys. But now you're saying, hey, those guys are super strong, Thor has a hammer and Hulk, shut up. Shut up! Of course they are super strong, holding up a mountain range that weighs several billions of tons, destroying the United States by just taking a step, or destroying an asteroid twice the size of the Earth. So these guys are extremely strong. This man right here is like broken adamantium cables. And cracked some celestial skull. But despite that, I think that Superman would completely wall up these two men. Superman's literally held a black hole in the palm of his hands. And even bench pressed the weight of the Earth for 5 days without breaking a sweat. Or the time when he just sneezed and destroyed the whole solar system. So the guy's literally unbeatable. Or maybe not unbeatable, because you know, you can use that green stone from his home planet, Kryptonite, to destroy him. But other than that, the only reason that he maybe loses a couple of times is because he's holding back, afraid that he might kill someone. But of course, if he didn't hold back, then you know, he would just crack Thor's skull. Now that those guys have been discussed and taken care of, let's move on to the Flash. Literally, dude, the Flash is like maybe even more overpowered than Superman. Logically, he's supposed to be the most overpowered superhero in the universe, because literally no one can touch him. In one of the comics, he was able to run across the whole universe before this evil super guy was able to instant teleport to the same place. I don't know what that sentence was, or even if you understood that sentence. But basically, he covered the length of the universe in, you know, an instant. Combined with him being able to phase through walls, travel in time, punch you 1 billion times before you can react, it's safe to say that he will destroy the rest of the Avengers members in an instant. So to make things a bit fair and not make this the dumbest and shortest video of all time, I've decided to take things a bit more fair, or make them a bit more fair. A bit more fair by eliminating some members from the Justice League, specifically the Flash, because you know, he would just kill everyone. So now instead you have these guys right here going up against these guys right here. An interesting 1 versus 1 will be Batman and Captain America, mainly because both of them don't have these superpowers. Of course, Captain America is a super soldier with advanced strength, not superhuman strength like someone like Thor or Aquaman, but a decent amount, combined with him being an expert martial artist and having an awesome American shield with an eagle on it. Okay, maybe there's no eagle, but still, looking at Batman, I mean, everyone knows what Batman's all about. He knows like every martial arts, super smart, super athletic, super handsome. Wrong video for that. But I do think that if Batman had time to prepare, he would beat the Captain. But if both these superhero groups just meet randomly at the park, then yeah, I think Captain America would win. Basically, he's a better version of Deathstroke. And we all know that Deathstroke is someone that will give Batman a lot of trouble. Unless it's in the Arkham games, because Deathstroke just gets eliminated like every time in 2 minutes there. Dude, my voice is getting destroyed. I'm like sick here. Moving on from regular humans, we get to an interesting character, the Green Lantern. I'm gonna be honest, I've never been the biggest fan of this guy. I don't even know how strong this guy really is. But after doing some research, it's safe to say that he's pretty strong. One of his most impressive feats is when he was able to create a force shield around the whole planet, dude. Other noteworthy things that he's done is a bit of magic, where he was able to recreate his hometown that was destroyed destroyed, and all the people that died in it. He just revived them from the dead somehow. So it's safe to say that this guy is extremely powerful. I think he'd have a good matchup against Iron Man, Ant-Man, and the Wasp. They would all present different threats to him, but in the end I think that he would just, prevail or win. Iron Man is awesome, dude, but I don't know if his technology can match, the power of a Green Lantern ring that can bring dead people back to life. His agility and great movement in the air would be beneficial here. The same thing can be said about the Wasp too, but a guy like Ant-Man, going big doesn't really benefit him because it would just make him a bigger target for the Green Lantern ring attack. Attacks that have the power to lift several hundreds tons. One punch from them and they should be eliminated. This is the most decisive matchup, I would say, because this probably decides the whole outcome, sort of. I mean, looking at Aquaman, he's a useless superhero, so we can completely discard him here. Okay, maybe I shouldn't discard him because the man can literally lift up to 100,000 tons. Communicate with marine life and just give them order. Has a golden trident as his weapon. With Wonder Woman, she's similar. She's the daughter of Zeus, making her basically a god because her father is a god. She's super strong, can fly, super hot, has the lasso of truth, and of course the invisible jet, which is just weird because what's the point of an invisible jet when you can still see her flying around and she can also fly? But anyway, I think these two would lose right here, mainly because of Scarlet Witch. We just saw how destructive she was in the latest Doctor Strange movie, where she was literally bending and shaping reality, closing this man's mouth and making his brain explode. Now is she able to do things like that to characters like Wonder Woman? What was that English sentence? Who is physically stronger than this asshole right here? I doubt it, but I do think that she would beat Wonder Woman because of her magic that, allows her to just, eliminate a whole army, fight Thanos, destroy an Infinity Stone. Combine that with having a guy like Vision next to you. Man, it sounds like I'm literally switching to the Avengers side here. No, but in reality, if this is a close battle, when Green Lantern is done with the 3 other assholes, then he'll just rejoin here and help them overthrow the enemies. That's without me mentioning that Superman might join as well, or will join when he beats the shit out of Hulk and Thor. We've actually gotten a DC versus Marvel crossover, where the heroes from both sides were fighting each other. Some noteworthy battles were, of course, Superman versus Hulk, which Superman, of course, won, like I stated here. But there were some battles that I didn't expect, like Storm versus Wonder Woman. I said that Captain America would beat Batman, but in this crossover, Batman somehow won, which is strange because it says that they battled for hours. You're telling me that a human can battle with a super soldier for hours and still manage to defeat him? Stop it, dude. Stop. A bit of a random video, but this is something that I really wanted to talk about because the Avengers have been such a massive success over the past years with the MCU and all. You know the MCU, all those movies, and it feels like the Justice League just haven't gotten that much love. Anyway, yeah, Justice League wins, I think, or I know, of course. Yeah, most random ending ever.